been a busy year for the Rolihlahla families as they made the shift from traditional sheep farming to a holistic method that will help restore the grasslands. There have been other big changes too. Both families celebrated marriages. Veronica's daughter Michele married Yaku, and farm manager Julian married Lucinda. Both ceremonies were held in the specially built chapel on the hill that has brought spiritual union to the two families. When last seen, the herders had abandoned the cargo netting mobile kraal and retreated behind a permanent fence after jackals made bold attempts to get at the sheep. But Johnny knows that no matter what, jackals are here to stay.
Miskien probeer jy maar net bekam, maar uitroei. Al wat nou op hierdie boerdery sal help, is die wat ons nou omtrent 24 uur by hulle is.
A new rigid crawling system was built, but then something unexpected happened. The jackals disappeared.
Elke een het ons nou maar sy mening. Ek kan regtig nie klaar hier van jackals sê. Ons het hulle mos daai tyd gehoor, daai eerste slag wat julle hier gewees het. Hoe het hulle geskree. Maar hulle het uitgevind hier is moeilikheid. Hulle moet maar vorentoe gaan.
For the last 2 or 3 months they've seen no spoor and heard no jackal. And what we believe it could be is the presence of dogs and people around all the time, that they might not be coming closer.
Even though there haven't been any jackal kills, there are always some losses. This lamb was found dead in the kraal, and a cropsy will help determine the cause of the death. A diagnosis of pneumonia is made.
Well, it's looking like there's some sort of infection in the lungs. The lungs have got lots of little cysty places on them.
Johnny has seen this before and has a theory about what brings it on.
Dan maak het stof. Nee, en jou temperatuur daal. Sien, that between die stof en die weather, is jou probleem. Dus als je zo kunt zien van hulle, hoe je het snot leest. Maar dat is een gevolg van een jaar weer tot je uitjaar.
Fortunately, it appears that the lamb's death is an isolated incident. Despite some setbacks in the first year, there are many encouraging signs.
This is what I'm really excited about to see all over the farm is this is the little bushman grass that'll come up into beautiful long golden grass for the sheep to eat, and they're all green at the bottom. There was absolutely nothing of this before the rains this summer. You can see a lot of this lovely green grass coming up, and it's close together, and this is what we want to establish a lot of on the farm. This is the objective. This is the grass that the sheep like to eat. But this is all over the farm where we've grazed. So I have a feeling, but we're going to have to wait and see.
The passing winter has been unusually dry, and there are many months before the summer rains will hopefully return. Johnny's 3 sons are now working on Rolihlahla. Julian is the farm manager. Rowan, his youngest brother, is a shepherd, and they've been joined by their oldest brother, Winston, who is discovering that being a tour guide in Cape Town was perhaps easier than herding sheep.
Dis 'n gesukkel met die injaam. Hier's 2 hekke daar oopgehad in. Hou hy punt daar om. Keer jy daai punt daar hol die punt weer terug. Dat het gekos om hulle hier in te kry. Ek kom by daar omgekom en is daar by die hek deur. Hier in hierdie kamp in en 'n ander daar. Al aan die hek deur, daar die draad hier. Die daai kamp in gekry. Hierdie sou kom haal, maar daai punt wat daar is, het maar gelos. Maar joh, is moeilik geweest.
Winston is new to stress-free stock handling and will admit he has a lot to learn.
Met al hierdie gesukkel toe klaar is toe lam hier ook ooit daar met die kraal. Paar minute daarna toe lam maar nog een.
So we've been caught unawares and without experience. What happened this year is we bought 3 different sets of ewes without knowing each of them was pregnant. In a regenerative farming way for us, because we're smaller, it would be far more practical that the sheep lamb at the same time in the year. We haven't really been able to kick off properly, and because we get lambs, and that just throws us out all the time.
Rowan understands the need to take a philosophical approach.
Ek glo altyd 'n mens moet eers sukkel om 'n sukses daarvan te maak. Soos vandag het ek gesukkel, môre werk ek weer 'n plan uit.
I have to be aware of where our skills are lacking, including mine, and where we need upskilling.
Gavin and Chris from the Herding Academy have returned to Noordgas to camp with the shepherds and to help them find their feet. Michele and Veronica's son Robbie have joined the team. It seems that whenever farmers and herders come together, they begin drawing lines in the desert sand.
Further, and they're going to have more grazing here.
Dan hier is maar so jou stabiele waterpunt. Soos daar onder waar die bakker ons op.
As ons nou op hierdie stelsel in die toekoms gaan, dan gaan jy ook weer daai stukke overgrazing goed.
Hier naartoe, nee? Nie hier naartoe. Want het is makkelijk om oor te dras.
Hoe in julle geval hoef julle nie.
These seemingly endless discussions are critical to holistic farming, helping to achieve the delicate balance between a good herd effect on the veld and overgrazing. At the same time, the sheep must always be well fed and watered.
Jy moet leer om te adapt. Verstaan jy? Alles gaan nie net sommer gebeur nie. Daar gaan baie challenges wees in hierdie hele besigheid.
Kyk, by ons gaan dit nie oor stripweiding nie of watse weiding nie. Ons wil net die hele kamp wil ons gewerk het. So ons identifiseer hele areas.
I heard Chris using sounds. He talks to the sheep.
The sheep are getting used to it. I mean, Chris doesn't need anything. He doesn't need a draw. Chris will just say, okay, bring hulle.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the sheep will just move. Will just turn or stop. You just need to make a lot of effort to stay with the sheep for a lot of time in the field. If you put a lot of pressure, the sheep will constantly move away from it. But in our sheep back home, they're so used to herding that they do not mind that pressure.
The reason why we're putting pressure on is just to get them buns. And when we take the pressure off, we want them to graze.
Yes.
They need to be fully grazed at the end of the day.
So in a typical day, so you're moving through a camp.
Yes.
How often would you bunch them to move them in that way and let them relax?
It depends on what I want in my camp. Do I need to trample dead grass or do I want to work erosion? So then if I need to trample dead grass, I will just bunch them where I found bad grasses in my camp.
You actually want to trample these grasses so that you can get this covering effect here on the ground. You want to get your dead material on top of your soil, so whenever it rains, your moisture will stay longer in your soil.
Ek wil nou hê jy moet laat die ontjie van jou hulle druk vir my vir die kokerboom. Sy hoef nie heeltemal om te gaan nie van jy wil die skaap stoppie ding. So as jy nodig laat sy heeltyd moet om nie. Maar net die punte van jou wat jy wil, want jy het mos nou klaar jou skaap in die rigting waar jy wil gaan. Tommy, laat sy sit, dan gaan jy voor. Sê vir sy moet sit, gaan jy voor.
Robbie, who has been watching from a distance, is new to the art of herding.
They just want to move forward. They don't know what's expecting from them. So when they in a new camp, they will walk until they found the end of the camp and then turn, walk to the start of the camp, but they will just move. We try our best to just keep them bunched for the first 2-3 days in that, and then after that they will be bunching themselves because they will be follow that pattern of that first 2 days in that camp.
And you completely lose the herding regenerative effect if they don't.
If they open too much, yeah. Now they are a bit scared of the dogs.
Yeah.
As jy om daai kant toe stuur dan. So met jou hande. Ja, jy. Ja, roep hom, nee, roep hom. Roep hom. Nou, sien jy wat gebeur nou? Hy hardloop hom wyd en hy voltooi sy sirkel. En dan elke keer as hy hom nou gaan voltooi, dan gaan die skaap weer by mekaar kom en staan.
We're going to let them
Stop here.
stop.
Okay, so they've got the shade and we haven't.
Sheep can also overheat if they do not go to shade during the day. They're also covered with wool, so that make the sheep the temperatures rise from the sheep. So it's important for the sheep to also go and rest underneath the shades.
In the heat of the day, the sheep also need to drink. Usually they will walk kilometers to the borehole at the far end of the camp. But today, Julian has brought the water to them to give them more grazing time. Chris and Gavin have left the shepherds on Noordga's farm with more than sheep handling skills.
Ek het baie van Michele geleer om die waarde van die grond raak te sien en om jou diere met respek te behandel. Nie soos in die voortyds is, klip optel, gooi, handkraal toe. Nee, jou diere is die belangrikste tool op die grond. Soos jy vir hulle behandel, die resultate sal hulle vir jou gee. As jy hulle goed behandel, gaan jy 'n goeie resultaat kry.
What's really been very positive is the attitude of everybody on the farm and the willingness to learn and the willingness to take on a type of farming that is completely foreign. It's a high intensity in terms of not lots of labor but work. You have to move that kraal every second night, and essentially one person should be able to do it, and that's not easy. When I said to Ruan, and he's not very tall and they're quite big gates to carry, will you be able to do it? He said, I will master this. And I just felt that's amazing.
But even though Ruan's will is strong, the gates are proving too heavy for a single herder to handle.
It's been quite hard to move. They're quite heavy.
Robbie sets about making modifications.
Dropping the fences has got many connotations to it, but one is essentially to allow freedom of movement of wild across these huge expanses of land, and we've got border fences on each farm that are constantly monitored for holes underneath where the wild digs to get through from one side to the other side. An ecologist recommends putting a swing gate on the perimeter fence so that animals can move through freely, and the theory is that predators such as jackal and caracal actually won't use a swing gate.
Jembe is put to the test to see whether all canines, and that includes jackals, will work out how to pass through a swing gate. He fails the test. A few days later, Robbie returns to one of the gates, opposite which he set up a camera triggered by motion. Small footprints suggest the gate has had a few visitors. What the camera confirms is a visit by a yellow mongoose, common to this area. But there's more.
Extra fork, I think.
A further search shows that a porcupine also came by.
Of the quills.
Where do we go from here? It just feels like a big responsibility on a land that's really, really harsh. One just hopes that step by step, learning curve by learning curve, we do get to the point where our ground is better than it was.